Good day everyone, Mr. Cargill here with our next AutoCAD video. Now in this video, we're going to look at this drawing right here, which is how we go about drawing the cross-section of a septic tank in AutoCAD. Now before we get into the video, please remember to like, share and also subscribe if you find this video useful. Over 85% of the people who watch these videos are not subscribed. I'm trying to get that number down to 70% at least. So please remember to like and subscribe if you find the video helpful. So let's get into the drawing. Now this is the cross section for the septic tank here. So what we're going to do is this. We can start anywhere in the drawing, but let's start right here. So what I did was I already did the drawing here with the correct measurements and everything. So let me just put it beside this drawing. Alright, so this is what the actual size is when you use actual measurements. I use some different block sizes. These are 6-inch blocks. That's why these ones are wider than these ones over here. So we can start here. So it says that this distance here is 150 because the wall width is 150. So this is like a concrete wall right here. On the side of the septic tank, this part is underground, and then this is the ground level. This green line represents the ground level. So this is raised, elevated just a little bit above ground, probably about 1 block height or so. Then notice the walls of the septic tank. Let's start right here. So what this says that this is 150. So we can start here, and let me just use a yellow layer since it's in yellow. All right, so for that now, I will draw like a little rectangle thing. So this is going to be 102. And then over here we have this. This is going to be 150, but the entire thing isn't going to be 150. We have a little part here, which is about 25 millimeters or so. All right. So instead of making this 150, we're going to make it 125. All right. Then we're going to go down here by about 25. And we're going to come across by 25. And then we're going to bring this down now. It's going to come right down to here. And there we have it. All right. So we have that. So once we have that, it says that the distance from here to here is 525. We get that. So before we do that, let's draw this little blue thing right here, which is the manhole cover. It says right here it's a 600 by 600 manhole frame I cover here. So let me go in a blue layer, right, a text layer. And I'm just gonna start. Let me just turn off ortho. I'm just going to start somewhere out, like probably about here, 22, like that. And it's going to be 525 across. I'm going to go 525. So it's like this. And then I can go back by 22, like this. And then I just close it here. Let me just turn on back ortho. So I'll close it there. And then I'm going to offset. And I'm going to offset by about 7. All right, so I have that, and I'm also going to offset this side by 7 here. By the way, these measurements are in millimeters. All right, so we have that. So now we are going to need this next part here on this side, but we have one already, so we don't need to draw the next one. We can simply just mirror. So you could just highlight these lines here, and then we can select the mirror tool, and we can mirror from in the center of this line right here. So that's the midpoint. Move your cursor down to there, erase those source object, no, but there we have that. So now with this, now we can get these block walls here, and then we can copy them over to the next side. So to get these block walls, it says that this distance here varies. So we're going to choose the distance that we want to use for that. It says that this is 1200 and this is 150. All right. So we're going to use 400 for this distance right here. So we'll use 400 for this, and this is 150. So what we can now is this. We can draw a line. Let me just go in the 0 layer. Good. And then I can copy this. I'll copy it to here, and to here also, and to here. Lovely. So what we have is this little section right here. And then now from here, what we're going to do is this. we are going to get this part here, which is 150. What we can do here actually is just this. We can bring this down by 150, and then from 150 we bring it down now by, that 150 seemed a bit small. I think that was 15 and not 150. So we're going to bring this down by 150. I'm not going to extend the line. I'm going to draw a different line and I'll show you why. It's 150, and then we're going to go down by 1200. So 150 then 1200. So we got this part, which is this 150, and then this 1200 to down here. So what we can do over here is to just copy this from here, bring it over that part, and for this, we don't need the entire thing, we just need the 150. So we can copy the 150, bring it here, and also bring it here. All right, so we have that now. Now what's the 150 part? This is the 150 part with this concrete slab right here. So this is what we're going to do with our concrete slab. This distance right here, we have the distance from here to here. So for the plan view now, it shows you that this distance is actually this distance from right here to over here. So now what's that distance? What's the length of that distance? So this distance right here, this is 1800, and this is 1050, and then this is 150, this is 150, and this is also 150. So that total distance is going to be 3300. But we just want the distance from here to here. We can subtract these distances, the 150, the 525, and the 150, and the 150, 525, and 150 on this side. We can subtract those from the overall length, and that will give us the length that we are looking for. So that would be 150 plus 150 plus 525. That's going to give us 825. We're going to double that because it's on both sides. So that's 825 times 2. That's 1650. And if we are to minus 1650 from 3300, what we're going to be left with is 1650. So what that means is that the distance from here to here is 1650. All right? And that is the distance that we are concerned about. So let's draw that distance now. So I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to draw it from this side here, and it's going to be 1650. So I'm going to type 1650. All right, so that's the distance that we want right here. And what we're going to do with this distance now, the 1650 that we have here, is this. We're going to do some mirroring. But before we do the mirrors, let's do this here. Let me put it up and I'll just mirror everything all at once. So to do that now, let me just close this off for a second. I'm going to close that off. I'm also going to close this off. I'm not going to extend the line. And when I do the mirrors, you will see why I'm just going to draw this line. And then I'm going to offset all of this by 150. So we're going to have this. Sorry, I think that was probably 15 or something instead of 150. So we're going to offset by 150. We get that. We're going to do the same thing here again. And we got that. That's lovely. So I'm going to extend this line down. Actually, this line here, I'm going to extend that down like that. So we get this. And yeah, that's what we want. But the next thing we're going to do is to put in this over here, this 150 that we had over here. So I'm going to draw a line from there. It's going to be the end of that line. The end of that line is going to be down here, about here to there. So that's a 150 there. So what we're going to do now is to hatch. All right, but just before we do the hatches, let me do this. Before I hatch this here, I'm going to put in the blocks. So I'm going to put in 6-inch blocks. So those are going to be 150 millimeters in the block height. All right, so I'm going to offset this up by 150 like this. And I'm going to offset this down by 150 all the way to the end. All right, so these represent my blocks here. And this wall for my septic tank, and I'm going to offset this up. All right, so I can't offset more. So we have that. All right, so now this here should be blue. Let me just change it to a blue layer. The color doesn't really matter that much, but let's keep it uniform. All right, lovely. So there we have that. Good. So now the next thing I'm going to do here, before I even do over this side, because we're just going to be able to get over that side, so I'm not worried about that side as yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this pipe right here, and then we can just mirror everything at once. So to get the pipe here, it says that this distance is 150. All right. So from here to here is 150. So let's do this then. And it says that this distance to the water level, it's 150 and then 225. All right. So 150 and then 225. All right. And 150 plus 225 is going to give us 375. So what we can do now here to get the water here is to offset by 375. So offset by 375, this gives us the water level. I'm just going to extend it to over here. And I'll extend it over here. No specific distance. I'll trim it afterwards. And I'm going to change it to, at the center layer, but I'm going to change it to, it's a regular layer right now. Then I'm going to make it double dash dot. But I'm going to change everything at once. So I'm going to make it just a solid blank for now. So now we can put in the pipe. The pipe would go right here. So it says that from here to here is 75 for this pipe, part of the pipe. For this part of the pipe, so from here to here is 75. All right, so, and this distance is 150. So what we're going to do is we're going to offset by 150. The diameter for the pipe is 100. The pipe would be somewhere over here. I'm just going to trim this piece for now. And the diameter of the pipe is 100, so I'm going to offset by 100. We'll get that part. That's that. And then now it says from here to here is 450. So I'm going to offset by 450. Just offset this. And then I can trim. I'm going to trim off that piece. I'm going to trim here, and I'm going to trim here. All right. So then now, pipe, we're going to offset this by 75. We said this distance is 75. So I'm going to offset again. And this time by 75. And we get this. All right, nice. So I'm going to trim. I'm going to trim here. And then for this distance here, which is from here to up here, I'm not reading that distance, but I'm going to use 200. So I will offset by 200 from here to here. That's 200. And I'm going to offset by 100 as well. I should have offset by 100 twice, but it's okay. So this is 100. So this is the 75, and I offset by 100. Okay, good. Nice. So this is what I have now. So I can trim. So I'm going to trim off these pieces up by the top. I'm going to trim these two pieces here. I'm going to trim this, and I'm going to trim this. Okay, good. So now I'm going to extend this green line out. No specific distance. No specific distance. I'm just bringing it out a little now. Right, that's this part here. All right, so this is what I'm going to do here. So what this shows is that the pipe continues, and it's just a section of the pipe that we have. All right, so just like I have over here. So for that, we're going to this. We're going to select a circle. Let me just go in the green layer. Any one of the green layers that I have here. Let me draw a line first. Then I'm going to draw a circle. So this is the center. I'm not going to draw the circle from here. This is the midpoint from this line, or this line, from here to here. I'm going to draw the circle just a little bit above the midpoint, like here. And I'm going to bring the circle up there, and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to extend this line. Then I'm going to copy the circle. I'm going to copy it. From here, I'm going to bring it down to this point. I just bring it a little bit to the left, like that. I'm going to trim out this part. But we're going to get rid of the line, of course. So we're going to trim out this part. I want to trim here. We're going to trim here. We're going to trim this. All right. Did I trim anything that I should not have trimmed? Let me see. Can I do a fillet here? Just fillet this part too. this part, yep, like that. Then I'm going to trim that and we get this part of the pipe. All right, so this is what we're going to get. It's going to look something like that. Lovely. All right, we're going to need to trim out this part as well, like that. So let me just make these lines green as well. Just these lines green. All right, so once we have that now, we have everything that we need on this side, and then we can mirror it over to the next side. What I'm going to do then in that case is I'm going to highlight all of these here, and I'll also highlight all of these lines here, all of these lines. All right, good. I'll highlight these two. I'll highlight the pipe. And then I'm going to mirror. I'm going to mirror from this center line. All right, and then I'm just going to move my cursor down like this. Erase source subject, no. And then all I need to do is extend this line like that. Nice. And there we have the next side basically done. I forgot to offset this line also. That's not a problem. But I'm going to just change this to be like that. And here, I can simply just redraw it. So now with that, we already have the next side already. We just now need to refine this a bit. Now for this pipe, isn't as long as this one. It says this one is 450, but this one just goes down by 300. So this is 450. So to make it 300, we can just offset and bring it in by 150. Like that. And then we can trim off the excess. All right, good. Now it says that over here as well, this part is shorter. This is 900. All right. So we have this line here, which is where we would start our measurements from right at this line. Right now it's 1200. What we want it to be 900. So I'm just going to give it a different color temporarily. I'm going to make this line green so I can offset it by 900. So I know where that falls. So it would fall right on this line. So let me see if I offset this, it falls right here. All right, so this is the line that we want. I'm just going to make it green temporarily. Can change this back to a white line. All right, so this is what we want. What are we going to do with this? This is what we're going to do. It says that this is a slope because the way the septic tank works is that when you have your solid waste going into the inlet pipe, it is going to come in and going to settle right here because this is sloped. So whenever like a cesspool truck or anything comes to get rid of the waste, they know exactly where it will be. It will be right here. And with that, now you can separate the solid waste from the liquid waste, which will go over here, come over to the next side and come out through the outlet. So that's how it works. So that's why it's slanted, to ensure that the heavier stuff stays on one side. So we're going to draw a line now from here across because this distance is 200 and this distance is 100 here. So we're going to draw a line. I'm just going to the red layer. Again, let me just say that, use the roof layer. Let me just say that the colors don't really matter. I'm just trying to make it, uniform. All right, so here now. We're going to start on that side and it's going to come to the 900, which is right about like that. Okay. So what that means is that this would be trimmed here. So we trim that, and over here, let's be trimmed. Good. And we can change this button now to a white layer. I just wanted it to stand out for a bit. All right. So now what we can do is says that this distance is 150. So we can do this. We can just draw two lines. We could offset, but we also just do this. We could draw this line by 150 down like this, a vertical line. And then we can come over here and do the same thing. Draw a line from here by 150 down like that. And then we just connect those two ones like this. Lovely. So we need to do the hatches. Right? So we're going to hatch this with concrete. So let me just go back to the 0 layer. So I'm going to select the drop down, hatch, and I'm going to hatch it with concrete, which is ARCONC. I'll just click the little arrow and select this one, ARCONC. All right, so I'm going to hatch that. This is also concrete. Well, I need to put something right here. So I'm just extend this line here so it doesn't hatch over into that. All right, so let me select this hatch again now. So this is concrete. This is also concrete. This hatch is concrete. This hatch is concrete, but it looks kind of solid. So I'm going to change the scale from 1 to probably about 5. Yeah, so 5. 5 looks good, but however, I think 10 would maybe look a little even better. So let me just change it to 10. Enter. Yes, and that looks a lot better now. All right, so there we have that now. So this now, the thing that we're left to add is this part in the middle. Now, what this part does here is, this is where the water would flow over here to this side and come out through the outlet. So it kind of helps with separating the quote-unquote cleaner water from the other stuff. All right, so this part here, this is a wall. It kind of looks like it's floating in the air, but it's not floating in the air. It's attached to the walls of the septic tank, but when you cut through it like this, it's gonna look as if it is floating in the air. So we're gonna get this part and we're gonna get this part. Now, based off these measurements, this part isn't going to be as tall as it is here, but it will do its job. So what is this distance? It says the distance from here to here is 1800. So how do we go about doing this now? What we can do here is we can offset. So we can offset this by 1800. All right, and we get that. So when we get that, now we can trim what we don't need, which is this part, and then we can trim up down here, I guess. And then up here, we don't need this part, so we can trim up there. And then the width is 150, so we can offset by 150. So we have this. So once you offset by 150, what do we do with this information now? All right, so this is what we do with this info. It says that from here to here, a little space here, and that's 150, and then this distance is 225. So we're going to offset by 150 and then by 225. So offset by 150, can offset this line down. And then I should just use a through offset, and then you can use spacebar, and then 225. All right. So 225 is the water level. So we don't even need to offset by the 225 because I know that the 225 is at the water level. So we can trim out. So we can trim out this part, and this part. Now it says that for this now, it is 450. It says from here to here is 450. So, and then this is 225. So 450 plus 225. So the total length for this right here is going to actually be 675. Well, let me see what 675 looks like. Might need to make it smaller, but let me see. If we offset by 675, see, it goes all the way down here. I don't want it to go all the way down here. So we're not going to use 675 as this dimension right here. What we're going to use instead is we're going to use 500. So we're going to offset by 500. All right, we're going to get this. And then now we have a little space right here for the water to flow over. Good. And then we have this thing right here. So for our space here, this space is about 100 millimeters. So I'm going to offset by 100. And we're going to get this here. Lovely. So we can trim now. So we can trim this and we can trim this. All right. We're also going to trim out this part of the water here. Lovely. So we have that. I'm going to trim that. I'm going to draw it back, but I'm not going to draw it actually. I'm going to trim it there also. So there we have that. Good. So now we're going to also hatch this with concrete. So concrete was my previous hatch, so I just need to click hatch. And I'm going to hatch that with concrete. And this down here is going to be blocks. So I'm going to offset this. And I'm going to offset this by 150. Because it's 6-inch blocks. And so it will look something like that. Let me just check the scale for this. This scale is 5, but I need it to be 10. Okay. All right, lovely. So we have that. Are we missing anything? We are not missing anything. So this is the earth right here. This represents the ground level. So we're going to draw that right here. So we're going to use a double dash dot. So our dash dot, sorry, we're going to use a dash dot for our line type. Well, not in the 0 layer. I want to make it a green line. So we're going to come over here and we're going to make it a dash dot. So let's start from here. So the length doesn't matter. It just comes out to drawing a bit. Do it the same thing on the next side. All right, and it's also going to come from here to here. But this says that is ground level, everything else is underground. For the water level, we're also going to make the water level double dash dot, sorry, not double dash dot, but just a dash dot as well, like that. And if it's too small, you can always change the line type scale by typing LTS. All right, my line type scale is currently 0.25, so I'm going to change it to 0.3. 0.35. And no, yeah, so it shows a bit better. So we have it. That's that. What else do we need? Are we missing anything? Let me just double check here. I think we are good. And the next thing that we'd have to do is to label and dimension. But since this is already labeled and put the scale as well, I'm just going to scroll over the different parts here so that you can look at labels when you're doing your drawing. But also, please do remember to subscribe. We need subscription to help and to grow. Thank you for your cooperation. All right, so this right here now is, you can just take a look at it for your dimension. And if it needs, you can pause. All right, so I think that's good. I think that's everything. So thank you for watching and do have yourselves a fantastic day.